Welcome back to another episode of the Get Back Coach, presented by Apollo Media. Today, very special guest, a reoccurring guest, is here to help us break down the SEC. We already have Jay, but we need some backup to talk about the SEC today. We have Pablo himself from the best corners of Auburn Twitter. Pablo is here. Thanks for joining us, Pablo.
Yeah, man, good to be back. I mean, I know that Jay actually played SEC football, but whenever it's nice to see that y'all get actual experts to talk about these kind of things.
Yeah, we need a little bit of need a little bit of backup. See, Jay's the new school SEC. We need some of those we need some of the old time
exactly
SEC people in here. Jay's not fully accepted yet.
Yeah, not yet. Texas A&M, we're still kind of trying to prove ourselves. It's been 12 years.
It's kind of crazy now that it has been 12 years. Like that's kind of wild to think about. That's a long time.
It's wild. So for those of you listening, you may recognize Pablo. Pablo's voice, probably not his face, maybe his face from Twitter, but you may recognize his voice from the Slander You podcast. I don't know.
Great fellas, friends of the program.
Just incredible content anytime those guys are around. And Pablo, we appreciate you taking the time to join us.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Yeah. For anyone who wants to listen to the Slander You podcast, I like to describe it as lovely chaos.
Yeah.
Like it's a good time. It's definitely different, but it's
like anyone that like listens and leaves like a formal review or like Twitter comments or anything that's for like the first time, they're like, oh, these guys are pretty funny, but not very serious. It's like, nailed it.
Yeah.
That's what we're going for.
I love it. I love it. So anyway, we're going to kick things off with your specialty, Pablo, what you know the most, and that is the Auburn Tigers. So I think they're kind of like one of the mystery teams in college football this year. We're not quite sure what's going to like how they're going to be. What do you think? How's Auburn going to look this year?
I think it should be better for sure. I mean, it's hard not to imagine it being better. I mean, it's you only judged, gauged against your peers, obviously. So I mean, you're still going to have to compete in games that you're wanting to look the part against those kind of teams that just coincidentally happen to be good. So it's like that creates a bit of a interesting dichotomy where you really got to prove yourself. But I mean, it should definitely be better. I mean, I think. Jackson Arnold, for his flaws or whatever, coming in, it's still tough to give him a fair shake with like all the injuries that Oklahoma had. And like people forget, like he's young too, he got thrown through the fire on some pretty bad teams that we love to make fun of Oklahoma for. So it's hard to judge him fully in that light. And hopefully, having a little bit better roster around him, which is kind of crazy to say, but like Auburn's wide receiver room should be light years above what they were working with last year. So, bringing Eric Singleton in from Georgia Tech is huge to replace Keandre Lambert-Smith. Obviously, Cam Coleman, I'm expecting him to have a insane, coming out party. I feel like he's not getting talked about as much like the Jeremiah Smiths and the Ryan Williams of the world, but like go look up what he did like the last month of the season last year and tell me you don't think that's a guy waiting to blossom at the end of the season or coming into this season.
Yeah. And the other piece of it too, Pablo, is just kind of looking at their schedule. Like, I feel like Auburn has been one of the teams in the SEC that always has difficult non-conference games.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time I've looked at an Auburn non-conference schedule and go, they could possibly make it through unscathed. Obviously, Cal's not on the schedule this year. So that's always nice for Auburn. They don't have to worry about playing Penn State. They do have the Baylor Bros on there, so I'm excited to see how the Slander You podcast reacts to that. But how do you feel about the schedule this year, Pablo?
Yeah, and so that's exactly where I was about to go with that. So perfect segue, because it's even in conference play, right? Like coming into basically before the last 2 years, it was one of the toughest schedules that, in the conference every year, just by nature of having to play Georgia and Alabama. Plus, LSU was on the schedule every year. A&M's on the schedule every year, crossing over with Georgia, of course. It's just tough. And so that's something that really lines up nicely with the way that this schedule looks. I mean, if you had to draw it up and you had to pick opponents out of, a list. Like you'd want to play Vandy, you want to play Kentucky, probably want to play Missouri, even in their good years. So it's one of those things where I'm not going to give as much grace as I probably would have 2 years ago because, like, one, the roster's better. Two, the schedule is just lines up incredibly favorable to be able to, like, make a little punch.
Mhm.
Do you worry about Hugh Freeze having to play Diego Pavia again?
So I know that we lost that game last year, and one of the interesting things was that, like, Diego actually didn't have a good game last year at Auburn. It's just that just shows you how bad our offense was last year. I mean, only put up 7 points at home against Vandy. Like, that just says all that you need to know. And they scored their last touchdown right there when we, couldn't do anything. They got the short field, and then when scored that final touchdown to go up 17-7. But yeah, I mean, he was 9 for 22 last year, so I think they figured out a little bit of something. So we got to hope. And with what they've brought in, secondary linebackers, edge rushers, blah blah blah. Hopefully we can finally get him, knock him off. Because I'm tired of losing to that damn guy.
And that brings up another point. Well, Jake, if you had something to add there.
No, I was just gonna say, like, this schedule is, I think, decent. Like, this is a decently hard schedule. I think. Listen, you have Baylor out of the gate, which, I know Baylor has kind of fell off a little bit, but, like, you got to go to Waco. That's at Waco, correct?
Yep, it's at Waco.
Yeah. So I mean,
that's not a breeze, and it's on a Friday, like a weird Friday night game,
right?
Which probably will inhibit how many. I know a lot of people that were, like, planning to go. I myself included. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it because it's Friday now. So it's like that's going to happen. You're going to have some drop offs probably just due to the travel arrangements. So yeah, that's not a game to overlook for sure. No. I mean, Sawyer's going to be one of the best quarterbacks. Probably a top 20 quarterback in the country. I would imagine, maybe top 15.
Yeah, and then you got to go to Oklahoma, who again is not going to be a cakewalk. They should be better.
Yeah, they'll be better too.
They hit the portal pretty hard. I love A&M coming into this year. So,
well, and that's the thing. So, like, think about how far into the schedule you're looking right now. Auburn still hasn't played a Power 5 team at home. We don't play a Power 5 team at home until Georgia the second weekend of October. Like, that's kind of crazy.
A lot of road.
That is insane.
So you've got to. That's why the Baylor game really is important, in my opinion. Obviously, being that game, you've got the 2 conference games, to start the slate, and then you get 5 of the last 7 at home. So it's like you need some momentum to go into that home stretch to really, really do something.
Because if you end up going, let's just say, you only win three games in those first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
Okay. If you only go 3-3, okay, now you play Missouri in another mystery team. Then you have Arkansas, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, all very winnable games.
Right.
But if you're beaten down already.
Exactly. You can't have the morale just be shot going into that stretch of winnable games.
Right. Exactly.
And it's been tough season after tough season for Auburn. Which kind of brings up the next point is, how are you feeling about Hugh Freeze's tenure so far, and how hot is the seat on the Plains for Hugh?
I'm not giving any grace if it's anything under 8-4 this year. Like, I'm just not hearing it. Like, I know it's a tough schedule if, like, the random person just looks at that list and sees, at Baylor and then Bama and Georgia, Oklahoma, at A&M, it's like all those things. Yeah, sure, they're difficult, but, like, those are the games you've been competing in the last couple of years that you, like, have to get us. You have to start getting a couple of those to move the needle. And if you're not making any progress, and you're in year 3. That's the year that's make or break for anybody. That most people would say, you got to truly give 3 years to accurately gauge, a build or, roster build, whatever. Like, this is it. Like, to me, it's win, or, like, I wouldn't even mind seeing him fired if we don't go 8-4. I'm not even joking. Maybe even 9-3 if it's to the wrong people.
Yeah. I mean, 8-4 should, I think 8-4 is you beat all of the teams that you should beat, and then maybe you drop one that you should.
Yeah, exactly. Won. So, I mean, if you map it out with, like, the way it looks, right? So, say you can get by Baylor to begin the year.
Yeah.
Say you split one of the Oklahoma or A&M games.
Right. You split it.
Just split there. That affords you the opportunity to lose at home to Georgia and Alabama, and then just beat the teams you're supposed to beat. And that's 9-3. Like, And I don't think that's necessarily where they're going to end up, but like that's why I'm just not giving the grace if it's not a relatively successful season. It's due, it's time, no more time, no more runway. It's running out.
What do you think that's the consensus in the Auburn fan base that his seat is pretty warm or hot?
Yeah. I mean, I would say warm for sure. I mean, I think 8-4, you can definitely salvage your job, maybe even 7-5, honestly, if it's just the way other teams shake out in hindsight. But yeah, it's definitely warming up.
So I have a question for you because of recent news. Okay. It is reported that a certain man might be coming back to coach. If
2026 Auburn Tiger head coach Nick Saban.
Yes, are you on board, Pablo?
Hey, yeah, let the wind blow the wrong way, and I'm calling for it.
I saw that. I'm like, ooh, what if Hugh Freeze fired, Nick Saban then comes in?
That would be hilarious
for a new challenge. I don't know. I think he's getting bored. I don't think he's actually
right. Yeah,
I don't think he's coming back. Why?
It's hard to imagine him. It's hard to imagine him hanging it up entirely. Just guys that are wired like that, but at the same time, like I don't know. I could see him transitioning to like something else. Not.
I can see him being like a consultant.
Yeah, like you're involved in the game, but you're not like you're not really living it every day.
Yeah,
kind of like what Jerry Kill's doing at Vanderbilt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah, just consulting.
I mean, by all accounts, he still kind of is doing that at Alabama. So
right.
I mean,
can you imagine being you replace the probably one of the best coaches of all time, if not the best, in program history, and he's still kind of lurking around the program.
Yeah.
Like how tough does that have to be?
Yeah. It's got to be tough, man.
Always watching.
Yep.
Just always watching.
Just waiting to upset him.
Almost like a mob boss type feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's just always there. You don't want to upset him. And everyone wants him back.
Oh, absolutely.
Everyone's like, I hate Kalen, but I like him. Dude, I want him back.
And it's such a messy situation for DeBoer. And so kind of circling back a little bit, talking about Hugh Freeze possibly being on the hot seat. Kalen DeBoer, fans not being happy with him. I think that has some other factors in play. But do you feel like just the current state of college football with NIL and the transfer portal has almost, shortened the leashes for coaches?
Oh, 100%.
Like, do you feel like they have less time to figure it out?
Well, and that's what you're going to always angle things that, go to your advantage. But like that was the big thing when Hugh came in, right? Like, I mean, a lot of people reference that now. It's like when you came in this climate and said as much that like in an NIL world at Auburn with the transfer portal, it won't take long to get this thing back off the ground. So that's exactly why, by most estimation, you're running out of runway.
Yeah. Well, and the other piece of it is you look at what he did at Ole Miss and like what he was able to recruit there. You would think that Auburn would be able to recruit better. I mean, he had guys like, bringing back up. I mean, the Kimdichie brothers were really highly recruited. Guys like Laramie Tunsil. I mean, there was a ton of studs going to play at Ole Miss, and I just maybe I'm just not as plugged into recruiting as when I was going through the cycle myself, right? But I feel like Auburn just hasn't had those splashes quite like that.
Well, and I think some of that is like coming from how things are right now, like just the summer vibe, because like I don't think anybody would have expected us to have like 2 top 7 or whatever classes in a row the last 2 years either, so it's like that's why that you've done well in the portal, you've got some studs at key spots, and like you've had 2 top 10 recruiting classes now to stack. So it's like a lot of people don't realize that either. So it's like if you're not really paying attention, you don't realize, like, it doesn't look very good on paper right now as of the summer for 26 class, but like the 25 and 24 classes were top 10 classes. Like you're in the mix.
Yeah. Right. And maybe part of that too is the fact that Ole Miss hadn't recruited as well. And we're just used to seeing Auburn recruit well. And that tents it a little bit.
I think that definitely is part of that.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So let's move over to the SEC. Pablo, do you have contenders for the SEC? So how this is going to work, Pablo, Jay, and myself, we are going to say who our contenders for the SEC are this season. We are probably going to have some overlap. So we'll
Yeah.
talk about each of those teams. And if there isn't any overlap, well, then that person will have to basically state their case. So, Pablo, who do you have for contenders for the SEC going into the season?
I think you definitely got to start with Texas and Georgia.
Right.
That's going to be the top two. And then LSU, I feel like, is going to be right there on that cusp. I'm very interested to see what Alabama does breaking in a new quarterback. So as much as I want to say, yeah, I don't think they're going to win the conference this year. So, let me just, for the sake of hating, like, they're not going to win the conference. They're not a contender. They're in that next tier of, like, you need things to break your way to actually do it. Like A&M, basically Auburn, that's just how it's going to be.
Okay. Jay, how about you?
Some people need more breaks than other. And I think Georgia is one that is probably not going to need as many breaks. I do think the conversation starts with Georgia and Texas. Those are the two teams that I'm looking at. If you look at like other teams that maybe could sneak in there, I think the conversation probably starts with an LSU.
Yeah.
And they're going to be those are the three that I'm looking at that are like, okay, I see these teams possibly being contenders. I think everybody else kind of falls under that, and I think we'll get into that here in a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, Georgia and Texas. So that's definitely where we're going to be starting off here very soon. I think Alabama, just because their defense is going to be so good, obviously the offense is going to worry.
They will unfortunately have a really good defense.
Yes. Their offense is going to worry me a little bit, but I think because their defense is going to be so good, I think they'll be able to contend. And I'm going to say it because I know Jay won't. I think Texas A&M can win I think Texas A&M can win the SEC this year. I know it's an outside chance, and I know it's like almost dark horse-ish, but I think the Aggies are setting up for a very good season. So yeah, those are my four.
And Jake, one other thing that I want to bring up, because we didn't really talk about it with Bama though. A little bit of a change offensively. You get Jamarcus Shepard reunited back with Kalen DeBoer, who had been with him at Washington, was the pass game coordinator up there. You have to wonder if that's going to open up things. And
Grubb,
the other,
right?
Yeah,
Ryan Grubb. Sorry,
that's what I meant. Coach. Ryan Grubb. My bad. I apologize for that. I'm already messing that up.
You're good.
But we are getting Ryan Grubb back, right? Who again was with DeBoer at Washington, and like y'all said, the defense in there. Another year under Kane Womack should be very good.
Yeah.
Who is that? Someone just said in the chat, we're going 8-4.
I'm assuming that's talking about Texas A&M.
Oh, that's terrible.
And I mean, that's kind of where the thought is as a program. Just been a lot of 8-4, 7-5 type years for A&M lately.
Yeah, tell me about it, brother.
So
I killed somebody for 8-4 right now.
Yeah. So that's the Penn State 10-2.
Yep.
That's what James Franklin never crashed his car because his hands are always at 10-2.
Is that what they mean when they say an SEC 8 and a Big Ten 10?
Yep.
Oh,
that's it. It's not even about women
or men, right?
Or men, yeah.
Whatever you're into. I will say when Alabama came up here, actually Auburn too. The sun, everyone was like dressed up. Like the sundresses were all out,
polos, like golf shorts,
and
like, sundresses.
Yeah, and I'm just like, wow, like they're like they really dress up for this. Like this is nice, as our fans are like
t-shirts and jerseys
and jean shorts and jerseys, and
you get a lot of jean shorts in Gainesville. To be fair,
yeah, you get a ton in Gainesville too.
I've heard some horror stories about the swamp, but
it is always interesting. Like just going other places though, and just seeing outside of
different
the bubble.
Culture.
It really is
cool.
Just totally different.
It's some of my favorite things to do, to go to another place and just kind of immerse myself in like what they like to do. Would love to get down to Auburn. Would love to get down to Jordan Hare.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So I had a great time there in 2014.
I bet you did.
When I visited.
Did you beat them did you beat them by 30?
That wasn't
that year.
Was top 5.
2014 was a good game.
Miles Garrett had a blocked field goal that was returned
Oh.
for a touchdown. Shout
Oh,
out to Floyd Raven.
I'm thinking of your trip to South Carolina.
Yeah. We beat them. We made Steve Spurrier quit. Is what I tell people.
You are responsible. So,
That's hilarious.
Jay, you are responsible for making Steve Spurrier quit football.
Maybe not me personally, but
Basically,
Your
you though.
teammates.
the
Basically,
team is. Yeah, I was part of it.
Your teammates. All right, so let's talk about some of these teams. So here's my thing about Georgia. Let's start with Georgia. Is it a little crazy to say that they are in, even though we're expecting them to contend, that they're kind of in a little bit of a rebuild themselves? Like not like a total overhaul, but like they.
I
have
think
to
it's just one of
replace
those
some
things similar to Bama, right? Where it's just like when the quarterback uncertainty is what it is, it's
Mhm.
like that. I mean, that literally can be the difference in like undefeated and 8-4. You know what I mean? Like it swings that much when your quarterback just doesn't hit. So yeah, I think everyone just assumes that with Texas because they think Arch is just going to be the second coming of whatever.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, you could see some struggles with him too, honestly, and nobody talks about that.
Okay, can I say something? And
Absolutely.
I don't want Jay. You know, I'm not a hyperbolic man. Okay, but like, is there a little bit too much hype surrounding Arch Manning?
I think there probably is, but I mean that's going to come with the last name. And again,
Yeah.
I mean I can't completely turn off my A&M bias here. I think Arch Manning. The other piece of it is I don't think Quinn was that great last year.
Right.
So I think Arch can be better than Quinn and still not be great, but better than Quinn is going to be enough to win Texas more games than they won last year.
Also true.
With the way they played, I think the receiver talent at Texas is still going to be very good. Ryan Wingo is one of my favorite young receivers right now in the game. They lose some production, like I think Gunnar Helm is gone at tight end. That's going to be tough for Texas. It's just going to be. They also have some really tough road games, right?
Right.
We had a
Going to
comment.
Georgia's
Yeah.
big.
So we had a comment earlier talking about some of the games on the schedule. Ohio State on the road, Florida on the road. Those are going to be very, very tough, right?
Right.
And I think that's going to limit some of what Texas does. But I ultimately, I think Arch Manning is overhyped. Yes, like Paul Feinbaum beating his chest, leading the charge on that is a little bit much. But I do think Arch Manning has the potential to be really special.
I also love that he said the best quarterback since Tebow, as if Cam Newton wasn't immediately after Tebow.
Yeah.
It's like, what, man?
And that's just I don't even like speaking his name.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, Texas's schedule, like all those games are away. You get San Jose State, UTEP, Sam Houston at home. You get Oklahoma on a neutral field. You have Vandy and you have Arkansas, and then you have A&M. So like, yeah. A&M is going to be absolutely bonkers. But then besides that, Arkansas and Vandy is your home stretch. Like,
right.
That's kind of that kind of stinks if you're a Longhorns fan.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be like it stinks, but at the same time, the home games are all winnable. Unfortunately, including A&M there. I think A&M is the biggest test for Texas at home. But it really stinks as a team to have to go to all these tough places. Like again, you're going to the defending national championship winner who you lost to, and obviously Ohio State I think has a little more turnover.
Yeah, they do.
But like this is a very challenging road schedule for the Longhorns. Arch Manning is going to get thrown straight into the fire. And so I do think like, again, I'm coming in saying he's a little bit overhyped, but I think we could see him prove himself very quickly.
Yeah. And I'm not saying he's going to be bad by any stretch, but it's just like, hey, he hasn't really taken like a lot of meaningful reps yet. And we're already saying about how great he is. And listen, he very well could be, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird for it to be so assumed. Like, you just don't see that with really anybody ever.
And that's not fair.
So assumed.
And that's not fair to Arch.
100%.
Because now everyone has all these expectations. And if he's just trying to feel himself out that first year, like that's not fair to the kid.
Right.
Because I don't think it's not coming from him.
Right.
But yeah,
One thing I will say though for Arch is it does open up the playbook for Sark a little bit.
oh yeah,
A lot more mobility there
he
at
can
the
move.
quarterback, especially with Quinn being banged up. Arch is going to be a big. I mean, we saw him in special packages last year, so I won't be surprised to see Texas's playbook shift a little bit,
Yeah, it'll look
which
different.
should make it more challenging for
Yep.
defenses playing
Yep.
against Texas.
Yeah, I think Texas' defense is going to be better.
Anthony Hill and Colin Simmons is a hell of a tandem to be pass rushing.
I think, and Sark, for as many games as Sark loses, like those bigger games, I feel like his offenses are always performing. So if his defense is going to improve, I do believe this is a contender because I think their offense is going to be just fine.
Right.
Again, I think Arch, for them to win the whole dang thing, Arch is going to have to play way better than Quinn Ewers. But for them to just be better, I don't think he's got to perform that much better than Quinn did last year.
And to be fair, like again, they were in the national championship last year, so it's not like semis. Sorry, they were in the semis last year, so it's not like improving a little bit doesn't possibly get them to.
Yeah, no, I mean that moves the needle, right? Yeah, I mean that's exactly a marginal
Absolutely.
Improvement. You win a national championship.
Yeah. Let's talk about Bama here for a second. Again, we talked about it a little bit already. Defense is going to be great. Offense, though, again, Ty Simpson, is he the guy here?
No one knows. I mean, apparently, but no one knows how that's going to be.
Exactly. And a lot of uncertainty. Big offensive addition, though. They get Isaiah Horton, though, from Miami.
Yeah, he's nice.
I think that's going to be huge for them. And then Jay, you're saying they're getting pass game coordinator, correct? That was
Ryan Grubb, who was the offensive coordinator at Washington with DeBoer is now joining the staff.
Yeah. I mean, again, so Alabama, their big question mark is going to be on the offensive side of the ball. Defense is still going to be lights out, which is going to
defense is going to be insane, no doubt about it.
Absolutely. Pablo, you and Jay both said LSU. I don't have LSU on my contender list here. So what makes you guys say that LSU is going to take like a step up than they did last year?
I mean, part of it is LSU wasn't that far off last year. I think they had some moments where they really struggled. You look at the game against A&M where they prepare for one quarterback and then Marcel Reed comes in at the second half, and that hurt them quite a bit. But they were 5-3 in conference. You're 9-4 overall. That's still a solid year. It was just that rough stretch of games with A&M, Bama, Florida. Really all it takes is having a few bounces go their way.
Yeah.
And I think LSU can bounce back. With that being said, LSU did get blown out by Bama. You have a lot of returner.
Which in that I felt like was another stretch of, to add to the misery of how that went for them. The worst thing that could have happened for LSU was having to play against Bama in a rain game. Like that took away Nuss as the difference maker,
Yeah, and I again, you get Nuss back, so I think he's going to be. Theoretically, he should take a step forward this year. I mean, I'm not a Brian Kelly fan. I don't think either of us and Pablo, probably not you either, are Brian Kelly fans.
Oh God, no.
But
I mean, you got to think with LSU too. The biggest thing, again, you're judged by what's relative around you. So, like the only real heavy hitter, true contender that they play that you would consider like automatically in the mix is Bama. Like they don't have Georgia, they don't have Texas. Like that's so. I mean, by nature of you just got at the top, they don't have to play those heavy hitters this year.
They do start off the year at Clemson, though.
So that's big. But that ain't got nothing to do with the SEC for them, thankfully.
Yeah. And Clemson, I think, is going to be very good.
Yeah, they'll be good.
Very good. Yeah, they're going to be
Battle of Death Valleys.
Battle of Death Valleys, and they're going to Clemson, and that's going to be a game where I don't necessarily trust LSU's defense. Like, really? I think their offense is usually going to be good. But, again, they're facing a Clemson team that might have the best defense in the country, if not top 3 or 4 best defenses in the country.
Yeah.
So they're going to be tested out of the gate, out of the gate. They're going to be tested as soon as the season starts. So for me, I think A&M has a shot here. Jay, tell me if I'm wrong. All right. This is just me, my personal thoughts. Big returning production. I'm big on returning production. They address some depth issues on the defensive line, which I think was their big losses coming out or going into the offseason. They don't have to play Alabama. They don't have to play Georgia. It's going to come down to that last game of the year, I think, against Texas for them to make the playoff if they do not beat Notre Dame in South Bend. So I think they can beat Notre Dame, by the way.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think they can beat them. You already talked about some of the questions there. The defensive line is the biggest one for me. But even further than that, it was A&M really struggled to tackle down the stretch last year. I think especially you highlight the South Carolina game and Lenore Sellers and what he was able to do against the Aggies. That's something that we've never seen out of a Mike Elko defense. Like even his time at Duke, his time previously at A&M as a defensive coordinator, his time at Notre Dame. That is something that has to be addressed very, very stiffly. And to that point, it does seem like Mike Elko is taking more of a step into the defense and being in the day-to-day operations more so than he was last year as head coach for this defense in 2025. Again, replacing Nick Scorton, Shamar Stewart, Shamar Turner, that's a lot to ask for this defensive line. You got to see a guy like DJ Hicks step up in the middle of the defense. Cassius Howell is a guy that flashed a lot of production off the edge last year. You have to have more of that. They went out in the secondary, got some guys too. So it's going to be interesting to see if this defense takes a step up. On the offensive side of the ball, a lot of returning production at running back and at obviously you get Marcel Reed back. Receivers, the big question there. I think you look at what the receivers did last year, and it just wasn't enough to help out the quarterbacks, either one of them, Wegman or Marcel Reed. And you lose Noah Thomas, who I think was probably the best receiver on the roster last year.
Yeah.
But you go out and you add some guys that are going to be, I think, pretty solid additions. Craver from Mississippi State. You have guys, the North Carolina State guy whose name is slipping me right now. Casey Concepcion is a big addition in the offseason. So you just really, if you're the A&M offense, if you can get more explosive at wide receiver, I think this is a very, very dangerous team. Because you look at the running back position, Le'Veon Moss, who had a monster year until he got hurt against South Carolina. You didn't have Reuben Owens for the entire season, really, until he came back sparingly in the bowl game and against Texas. If both of those guys are healthy, plus Amari Daniels, I think the running back situation is fantastic.
Yeah, that's a really good backfield.
Yeah, you look at that, and if you add in some explosive plays on the edge, and I do think ultimately, like, this is still a Colin Klein offense. They want to be a physical team. But if you add some explosive plays at the edge, this is a really dangerous team. We just don't know if that's going to take that extra step yet. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for, kind of what I'm looking at and have questions about.
Yeah. Any other contenders we want to lay down before we move on?
I think Ole Miss would be a bit of a flyer there, just, depending on what Austin Simmons looks like and turns into. Ole Miss should be good. I mean, at least expect him to be in that 8-4, 9-3 range at minimum. So they can get a couple breaks their way and, maybe bounce 10-2 or something. And that'd be interesting.
I mean, their toughest game is Georgia, and then a toss-up game against LSU, toss-up game against Oklahoma, toss-up game against South Carolina. So they have and a toss-up game against Florida. So they have about 3 or 4 toss-up games, and then they have probably a definite loss with Georgia. So, I mean, they can definitely hit that 9-3 range. I think it does rely on kind of Austin Simmons and just the amount of transfer portal guys they're bringing in.
Yeah.
Like, they brought in a huge transfer portal load because they lost so much last year, which, by the way, guys, last year was supposed to be like their year,
Right.
and they let it slip. You can't lose to Kentucky.
Can't lose to Kentucky.
Can't lose to Kentucky.
You know, can't have it. So let's move on to some surprise teams here. My surprise team, I don't know if this is going to count for a surprise team, but I think Florida has a chance to make a little bit of noise. They do have a tough schedule again. You know, DJ Lagway, I thought he improved as the year went on. They are the only real position they had to, or that they addressed, is the wide receiver position, but they returned 13 starters. They have most of their offensive line back. So think about this. You have most of your line back. You have a quarterback back. I think that spells for some success. Listen, last year they had an absolute gauntlet of a schedule. What did they go, 7-5?
6-6, I think.
6
Or did they go 7-5?
Let me just double check that.
Either way, I didn't expect them to make a bowl game, and they did. So that was
No.
props to them for the tail end of closing out that schedule.
No. So they went 7-5 and then beat Tulane in a bowl game.
Yeah. Okay.
So they went,
Wow.
whatever.
Former
So,
SEC team.
yeah, former SEC, the Tulane Green Wave, which, by the way, I believe Tulane has more SEC titles than South Carolina.
And Ole Miss. And
Texas A&M and Missouri and
Well,
Texas.
A&M
And
came
Texas.
in.
And Oklahoma. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
So,
Like half the league.
yeah. And there's someone else in there, too. It's like Tulane and
Kentucky, of course.
Vanderbilt.
Vandy.
Anyway, so Florida, listen, you got LSU at LSU, it's going to be tough. I think Florida can beat Miami.
Yeah.
Texas will be tough. At A&M will be tough. Home against Georgia, Ole Miss, Tennessee in there. But I think it's a little bit easier because LIU, South Florida, which, by the way, Florida, South Florida, low key is going to be, I think, one of the better games.
Yeah, that could be a good game
in week 2 because USF should be decent this year. But you have those two, which should be wins. You should beat Miami. I don't care what anyone in the ACC says. You should beat Miami. Mississippi State, Kentucky, Florida State. You have 6 wins right there.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with everything else? And like I said, offensive line coming back, quarterback back. Billy Napier is on the hottest of hot seats right now. So I think Florida can surprise some people. I think they can get to 9-3, make a little bit of noise.
I'm with you.
Pablo,
Yeah,
Pablo, you gave the Flyer as Ole Miss. I'm going to take that as kind of your surprise team, depending on how Austin Simmons goes. For my surprise team, I'm looking at South Carolina, who was kind of a surprise team last year. They get Lenore Sellers back, and maybe it was just the nightmares I have of Lenore Sellers running through the Texas A&M defense. But South Carolina had a surprisingly good year last year. I think they were, a late field goal away against LSU. They struggled against Ole Miss, but they played Alabama within 1 score.
A dropped touchdown pass at the end of a game from beating Bama. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you look at that and South Carolina would have had 2 losses. They're probably in the college football playoff at that point.
Right.
If they had beat one of Bama or LSU and possibly both, because they did beat Clemson, who was in the playoff at the end of the year.
Yep.
With that massive 17-14 win. Obviously the bowl game, they lose to Illinois, not great. But Illinois was a solid team last year under Bielema. Really, really fun moment there with Beamer and Bielema not being happy, or I should say Beamer not being happy with Bielema. Gave us one of the funnier moments of bowl season. But I'm looking at the South Carolina team as a team with a real shot to compete for an SEC title. Because again, they don't have a bad schedule either.
Yep.
Obviously, you have the Clemson game at the end of the year, but
if you have the dynamic QB, then it opens up the world.
Yeah, and Alabama is probably their toughest game. They get Alabama at home. They're on the road at LSU. That's going to be tough. At A&M and at Ole Miss, both tough games in November. But I think South Carolina can be competitive in any of those games.
Oh, they absolutely can. But I'm going to zig to your zag, and that's going to be my team that I think is the letdown, because I feel like so many people are expecting them to be good that I'm gonna go the opposite way with that, and I'm gonna say that's gonna be the one that's gonna go 8-4 and be like, oh man, they could have done it.
I like that. I do like that. That's
Well,
not
we're
my
moving on to the
team.
letdowns then.
I do like that. So my disappointing team, I do like the South Carolina pick with the disappointing team, but my disappointing team's going to be Ole Miss. And this is the reason why. I know looking at their schedule is pretty favorable. Like, okay, Ole Miss has to play Georgia, but like I said, LSU, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Florida, like those are all games that they should win. But huge transfer class coming in, don't return a lot of starters. I don't think this revamping through the portal is very stable. And I think losing Jackson Dart is going to hurt them more than people think it's going to.
Yeah.
So looking at their schedule, you would think, okay, this is a 10-2, 9-3 football team. I don't think so. I think they get 8 or less wins. And here's my next caveat here. Lane Kiffin will not be the head coach of Ole Miss within 3 years. Because
I can go with that.
In year 3, that's what, because his buyout right now is too big. I think next year it goes to $4 million. I think the year after that, we're going to start. I think this is going to be the decline of Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. I think he's definitely not there in 3 years. I would love to say by the end of next year, he's not there.
And he didn't strike while the iron was hot, so he missed out on A&M. He missed out on Alabama.
Yep,
and he gets
missed
out
out
in purgatory.
He missed out. He missed out when the window was open.
I'll tell you what you need to do if that happens. You go to Liberty, let everybody convince you that you're actually good, and you come back to Auburn.
Man, where have I heard that before?
Wow. Well, I guess
I do think Ole Miss will ultimately disappoint because they always do, and I'm not going to give them enough credit to say they're a sleeper team for me. So,
okay, there it is.
Yeah.
Jay,
Tennessee is my team that I think is going to be a little bit disappointing this year. I think you kind of had a weird off season.
They had a very weird off season.
I don't know that like ultimately losing Nico Iamaleava is going to be like the thing that kind of breaks the camel's back. But I look at their schedule and, I don't think they're going to do well. I think it's going to be tough. You had the surprising loss to Arkansas last year, which kind of halted a lot of momentum. You make the playoff. How do you respond to that? You're going on the road at Alabama. You have Georgia at home. You have Florida, who I think is going to be very, very good at the end of the season in the Swamp. Mm-hmm. So I look at those, and I think I see 3 losses right there.
Yeah.
Right.
I know we don't have like divisions anymore per se, but like the traditional East is going to be so much better this year than like the recent years, and like that's that could really trip up Tennessee.
I agree, and I think they lose all 3 of those games, and then I think you probably get at least one more surprising loss in there, and Tennessee's 8-4. Syracuse is nothing to sneeze at to start the year because I think Syracuse is going to be a solid team next year. Maybe not good enough to beat Tennessee, but we'll see. But you could easily see them slipping up again at a place like Arkansas, right? They get Arkansas at home this year, but you're on the road at Mississippi State. You have Vanderbilt at home. You're going to Kentucky. We saw Ole Miss slip up against Kentucky last year. Oklahoma should still have some sneaky beef there with obviously Josh Heupel coaching against his alma mater. So I look at Tennessee, and I think this is going to be a 4-loss team, what I'm saying right now. And that's going to be a very disappointing year for the Vol fans.
Love to hear it.
Yep. I also love to hear it. They sent me death threats, Pablo.
Death threats. That's crazy.
And I wasn't even podcasting or anything. It was just like people who
just internet bad boy.
Yeah. No, it wasn't even that. It was like I put like
internet bad boy Jake.
Dobbs. This is how bad. Like Dobbs was their quarterback. So like this is like the beginnings
2016.
The beginnings of like Twitter like really blowing up. And it was just like all I said was like, I think Northwestern has a shot in this Capital One Bowl. And Tennessee like
How dare
blows them
you.
out, and it's just like, how'd you like that game? You stupid go dudes, bubble. I'm like, yo, like, what did I do?
That is hilarious.
But I will say when I went to Tennessee in person, they were very nice. So, which I think most fans.
Yeah, I feel
I've
like
seen
that's
people
how
say
usually
that.
is.
I've seen people say that like
Nah, I
they're
mean,
as
I
bad
went-
as they are online.
Yeah.
Tennessee fans great in person. I had
I
a
went to
great time in
Knoxville,
Tennessee.
and I mean, granted, that was like that same season. It was 2013 when
Mhm.
everything was fun for us offensively, and
Mhm.
we had like a kick return touchdown and a punt return touchdown, and not much you can really say when you getting beat like 55-10. But yeah, that was a great time up there. I mean, they even before it got out of hand, like I mean, we never had any like bad interactions or anything, and that would have been 100% the dynamic at that age of us. Like you're, early 20s, like people are gonna act that way if they're gonna do it.
Yeah. No, they were like I said, like they were completely fine. Like
Which
they're
I feel
really
like that's
cool and cordial.
that's most places really. Like,
Actually, do you know who they hated? So it was Tennessee at LSU. There's like a giant like thunderstorm during it, but LSU fans and Tennessee, they both said Florida was the worst fan base to be at.
that's
Swamp.
the
They
yeah,
said
that's
that
the
the
worst.
Swamp is
Totally
the
agree.
worst fan base in person. Which is weird because I don't usually see Florida fans on Twitter. So it's like,
Yeah, they're really not that bad on Twitter to my experience
No.
either. That I'm at least interacting with. But yeah,
Yeah.
dude, in person, that game, yeah, they were terrible.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. All right, so let's go to a tier here. So Pablo and Jay, so what we're going to be doing here, which tier are you going to be placing the SEC teams? Okay,
All right.
not making a bowl game, making a bowl game, almost making the playoff, and then title contender. Because as we saw last year with this expanded playoff, there is a difference between making the playoff and being a contender for the playoff. Okay, Texas is a lot different than SMU. Notre Dame, as we saw, much different than Indiana. So we're gonna see here what tier. So we're gonna start off with Alabama. I'm sorry, Pablo, but we're starting with you. Alabama makes the playoff. Or so, what do you think? What is Alabama going to do this year? What tier?
Playoff contender.
Playoff contender? Ooh, playoff contender.
I think they're 9-2, and then they go to Auburn and lose and get knocked out of a playoff spot.
Ooh,
So almost making the playoff.
Almost making the playoff.
Almost making it. I love it. Let the hate flow through you, Pablo. No one's going to judge you.
Absolutely.
Here. Jay.
I have Bama as an almost making the playoff too. I just don't trust them enough.
Really?
I think it's going to be almost making the playoff, not making the playoff.
Wow. Okay, so I have them making the playoff, and I do believe that they are a title contender as well, just because of how good that defense is going to be. I have them as a title contender. So I'm a little bit higher than you guys. Okay.
Yeah, you definitely are.
I am. Arkansas. Jay.
Not making a bowl, unfortunately. I think this is the end of Sam Pittman. I was surprised they held on to him last year. I think not making a bowl is Arkansas's fate this year, and I think this is the end of Sam Pittman in Arkansas.
Pablo?
I totally agree with that.
Yep.
I think we got to send the big naturals packing, unfortunately.
The big naturals. Oh, man. Oh,
it was a good run and it was fun, but yeah, I think that show is formally over.
Yeah, it was that 1 year was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun that 1 year. I agree.
Sam Pittman, new offensive line coach at A&M.
If Nick Saban was still coaching, Sam Pittman would be going to the Alabama Center for Rehabilitated
100%.
Coaches. I'm also going not making a bowl. Just way too much inexperience with them. So let's move to Florida here. Another tough schedule. I have them making a bowl game. I think they're going to finish 8-4. So I have Florida 8-4, making an okay bowl. Jay.
I have Florida in the same boat as you, Jake. I have them making a bowl. I don't think they're quite to that almost making the playoffs standard, but I do have them making a bowl.
Yep. Pablo?
Yeah, let's go making a bowl. Their schedule's just a little too tough for me to say almost playoff.
Yep. Next up, Georgia. Pablo, do you want to kick this one off? Where is Georgia on your tier?
I'm gonna put them at the top.
Yep.
They're definitely like national title contender.
Yep. Jay?
Title contender. I haven't seen anything from Georgia to make me say otherwise.
Yeah. In a little bit of a rebuild, but man, we just know they got people. They got dudes. They got dudes waiting.
And Joes.
They got the Jimmys and Joes waiting in the wings.
Jay, it's honestly a very similar situation to Alabama. I just at this point I'm trusting Kirby more so to revamp it than DeBoer, because I mean it's just the backslide we saw last year, and that Bama could have like easily went 7-5.
Almost did, yeah.
I'm gonna just pray on their downfall, and I think I just trust Kirby more than him right now.
Okay, Jay, let's start it with you because there is a little special connection, almost a connection with this next one. Kentucky.
Yeah, I've been calling them the Iowa of the SEC for a while, but I think they're going to be below Iowa,
which is very disrespectful to Iowa.
It is and it isn't.
I don't know.
Right? Mark Stoops has the
Iowa of the SEC. I think it's fair.
It's the style of football they play. Not a very good offense, good defense. They're not as competitive as Iowa has been for titles and championship game berths. But I think this is the end of Mark Stoops at Kentucky. Kentucky's not making a bowl.
Yep. And I think when that happens, Jay, we retire I think it's official to retire the Iowa of the SEC.
It's more like a Timu Iowa of the SEC.
Timu I like Timu Iowa.
Shout out to Zach Calzada though.
Kentucky's not making a bowl game.
Nope.
They're not making it, and it's over. It's over. Pablo, same?
Auburn's going to beat them by 30.
Well, me and Pablo both have the Zach Calzada connection at Kentucky.
Yeah, that is right. Okay, LSU. This is a weird one for me. I have LSU. I have LSU as making the playoff. I think you guys have convinced me. I got LSU to make the playoff. I think some freaky stuff happens though at the end of the year. Like they kind of backdoor their way into the playoff.
It's funny you say this, Jake, because like I was higher on LSU than you to start, but I have LSU
and you got them almost
making the playoff.
Same, me too. I was gonna say almost playoff, and that's just due to volume of team. So like,
I think 3 SEC teams make the playoff.
Yeah.
Oh, now see, hang on. This is why I think the SEC gets 4, maybe 5 teams in.
Oh wow!
Because only 3 Big Ten teams are going. If 3 Big Ten teams go in, I think Penn State and Ohio State go in. I think Oregon, just because they have an easier schedule, I think they go in. But I think after 3, I don't think they're going in because I believe Illinois is going to screw up somewhere. I think Illinois is going to screw up somewhere and go 9-3, and then we're going to have LSU jump them.
Okay. We'll see.
Yeah,
we will see. Hey, listen, I would love for Brett Bielema to go get into the playoff. Okay, I'd love for Bert to get in there, but anyway. So you guys are going no. You guys are going almost.
Almost.
Damn. All right. Ole Miss. Pablo, what does Ole Miss do?
Makes a bowl game.
Makes the bowl.
I have them in the make a bowl tier as well. I do think they're going to take a pretty big step back this year, but I think it's still like a 7-5 year for Ole Miss.
I was just going to say I think Ole Miss goes 7-5, and I think people I think Lane might start to wear out his welcome in Oxford.
Yeah,
I think this is really the beginning of the end. Here's a team that I am not sure, and I called this team to win a lot of games 2 years ago. I have no idea what's going on in Missouri right now.
I have Missouri missing a bowl.
Really?
I think they fall off hard.
I don't know about that. I don't know if I can go that far. As much as I would like to see that too. I think they make a bowl game, but I don't think they're even close to competing for playoff spot.
I mean, here's the thing. I love Bo. I love Bo Prabula. You know, dude he came in for those packages at Penn State.
Right.
You know, it was a very unfortunate situation because he was born and raised a Penn State diehard fan, but dreams don't pay the bills. And he, I think, knew I could go make a lot of money, more money somewhere else. And, I can't fault the kid for taking it. But the thing is, you got a backup quarterback now probably going to start for you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
that's, I don't know, man. That's going to be tough. I have Missouri I have them making a bowl game, but I have them making a bowl game. I think they go 7-5. Let's just go 7-5.
I'm
Yeah,
just
I
going
could
to
see
circle
7 and
back a
5.
little bit here to why I said this. Mizzou got pretty lucky in some games last year. You look at the Vanderbilt game, where
Should
it
have
took
lost
2
the Auburn game.
overtimes. Should have lost the Auburn game. Should have lost the Oklahoma game. Remember how wild that one
that
was at the
too.
end?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And then you beat Arkansas by 1 score. So it's I don't trust them. I think this is going to be a tougher year.
Mhm.
They have, Kansas on the schedule, who I think is going to be a good team this year. You have OU again, and I think OU is going to have this one circled and should be a better team.
And that one's on the
than
road
Missouri.
this time.
Exactly. You look at like South Carolina, that should be a loss. You look at Alabama, that should be another loss. Auburn, at Vanderbilt. Like, these are games that they narrowly won last year that they're now going to be on the road.
Yeah, it's tough.
And then I watched them get blown out by Texas A&M last year. I don't
Yep.
think they win that game. I just don't think this is a bowl team this year.
Okay. All right. Mississippi State. I'll kick this one off. Not making a bowl. Nope.
Not making a bowl. I don't really have
Not
much
even
to add.
close. I mean, I think like almost making a bowl is their ceiling. So like,
Yeah, it's rough.
yeah,
It
that's
is
going to be a
rough down there.
tough year.
South Carolina. I have South Carolina almost making the playoff.
I have South Carolina as my third of the SEC playoff teams.
Ooh,
I'm going
okay.
all in on South Carolina being
Almost
a surprise team this year.
playoff. I agree.
Almost playoff. Tennessee makes a bowl game, doesn't come close to the playoff. I think Tennessee like 8-4. They take a step back.
Tennessee is similar for me. I already said that. I think they're an 8-4, 7-5 team.
Yep. Just makes a bowl game.
Makes a bowl.
Okay. Texas. Jay, let's start with you.
Title contender, unfortunately.
Pablo?
Yep. Totally agree. That is a title contender through and through.
Makes the playoff, title contender, but they will not. They will not win the national title.
For my sanity, I certainly hope so.
I am guaranteeing it. They do make the playoff, though, but they are not going to win the whole thing. But they are still a contender. Texas A&M. Pablo.
Almost playoff.
Jay.
Almost playoff.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Get Back Coach podcast, you've heard it here first. Texas A&M is making the college football playoff. You heard it here first. I'm telling you, it's happening. Texas A&M in the college football playoff. Book it.
Pablo, to give you a glimpse at how this show goes, Jake is always higher on Texas A&M than I am.
Always than you, yeah.
And then Jay repays me sometimes with being high on Penn State. We gotta hook him in there.
Yeah, title contender.
Of course, there's always gonna.
There's always one.
We're Houston based. They're all out there. Okay. Vandy. Pablo.
Vandy. Oh man. Vandy. Well, they went 6-6 last year, right? Went to the Birmingham Bowl. They were right up the road playing their bowl game against, what was it? Texas Tech?
I believe so. I think they won, right? They did. They won the bowl game. Correct.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Was it Texas Tech? Who was it?
Hey,
Georgia Tech?
Georgia Tech. They went 6-6 and then won to get 7-5.
I'm
gonna say, let's see. Let me pull this up. Let me see. At VT, I kind of forgot that game was taking place.
VT is rough right now, though.
At South Carolina, at Bama, at Texas. Damn. LSU, Auburn. Ah, man, they're missing a bowl game.
They're missing it.
Let's just say it. They're going to miss the bowl game.
Oh, man.
I have Vanderbilt making a bowl game as long as they don't lose to Georgia State again.
I have Vanderbilt going 6-6. So I have them making a bowl game again. They're going to go 6-6. And then lastly, I will start this one off. Auburn makes a bowl game. Auburn makes a bowl game. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, depending on how you look at it, I think Hugh Freeze might be gone at the end of the year. So I think Auburn does win a bowl game, though. Jay.
Yeah, I have Auburn making a bowl game. I think they're at least 6-6, if not better.
Well, if we go 6-6, he's got to go. Like, not even.
Yeah.
I mean, after what we just talked about, I mean, there's just, I mean, man, you play Ball State, South Alabama, Mercer. I mean, you got to get all three of those. You get Vandy, you get Kentucky, you get Missouri, who we all just established are probably not going to be very good.
Bad.
And then, I mean, you're at Arkansas, very winnable game. I don't know. I'm gonna say almost playoff.
Ooh, there we go.
Hugh Freeze saving his job.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
I look at that Arkansas game especially as one that if
the
Auburn
one.
wins, it's going to be
Yeah, they're going to drop
they'll be
one that's
7-5,
going to really
8-4.
annoy me. That will make them 8-4. That they could have won and been 9-3 and got in. But like that's how it's going to go.
At Oklahoma should be fun with Jackson Arnold going
That
back.
should be fun going back.
Now the conference championship pick. I am going with the Georgia Bulldogs. Stockton returns. I think they have done what I mean, they're one of the best recruiting teams in the country. Yes, they lose some, but again, they got dudes waiting in the wings. Jay says that the Jimmies and Joes are there. But this is a wide open SEC. But I'm going with the Georgia Bulldogs. Jay.
Yeah, I'm going with the Georgia Bulldogs as well. I think one little fun piece of the season last year that we kind of forget about is that epic 8 overtime game with Georgia Tech.
Yeah,
that they should have lost.
They should have
They
lost.
definitely should have lost. But I think Georgia, it felt like a sloppy year for them last year. I think they're going to be motivated to come back stronger. I like Georgia to win the SEC title as well.
Yep. Pablo.
Let's go against the grain because I wanted to say Georgia, but we can't go consensus. So I'll go Texas for the sake of this.
Damn.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're pandering to this Houston base. All right. That is our SEC preview. Pablo, anything to leave the people on? Tell them again where they can find you. If you
Twitter,
want them to find
at
you.
Pablo Escobarner. Yep, that's pretty much it. We're just out here in the streets. And then, of course, Slander You podcast.
Yeah.
And it's not at all like what you just listened to on here. That was a nice recap, just a nice, friendly conversation amongst some bros discussing some football. It's the opposite of that is what you'd be getting.
Yeah.
Maybe even less knowledgeable.
From all of us, check out the Slander You podcast. It is a good time. From all of us at the Get Back Coach podcast, thank you all. And we will be back next week with a Big Ten preview with our good friend, reoccurring guest, Jeffrey the Greek. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great week.